All right, greetings everyone. This is YatoGod from Hainu Gaming. So y'all might have known me from being a member of the FGC, Barbados FGC. I don't really play fighting games anymore. Not that the love for it died off, but I would say found a new love, and this is card games. Yep, good old cardboard. So, we're into some Yu-Gi-Oh now. Yesterday we had um a locals. I would say it was one of our biggest ones. It was a great turnout. Um, Everyone came with the meta decks, some rogue. It was a really nice event. So I decided to take my Branded Despia deck as I've only recently completed it, and I want to see how it would play now that I have everything finished. Before it was pretty badly put together, and I was missing cards, and cards that I was like, well, if I had this card in this situation, maybe that would have turned out different. So now that I got the cards, I decided just to give it a chance. I've been on Voices Voice for the past couple months, but I wanted to put this back up as I got the cards just to see how things would go. So without further ado, I would give you guys deck profile. The build is 57 cards. I could have gone with the 60, but I didn't really have anything else that I think I wanted to put in. Um, what to me would have completed it is I am missing maybe like one forbidden droplet. Um, Other than that, I don't think there's anything else. Maybe I could have put the Book of Eclipse into the main deck, but it's fine. So first we have the starters of the deck. Tree Aluber. We have two Guiding Quem, two Blazing Cartesia. The reason I went with two Quem, everyone is dropping Quem to one right now. The reason I went with two Quem is they're bestials in the format here in Barbados. Yeah, sorry if I didn't mention that. I live in Barbados. This is the TCG that we have here. The community has a lot of bestials because a lot of people are right now on Blue Eyes. Then Malice. So there's Malice, there's Blue Eyes running around. People want to out the Blue Eyes from the graveyard, and Malice just wants to banish their own cards, but they would use the opportunity to banish any of your cards, especially if it hurts your deck. So Quem is really just a target for Bestials. If it goes to the grave, they could get it to the graveyard, they're going to banish it out of everything else, unless you have a Mirror Jade that you can bring back somehow. So that's the reason I played two Quem, just for fear of it being banished. So next we have two Albion the Shrouded and three Fallen Albaz. You have to play this at three. Um, I did a little bit of net decking, or more so research, but people have been dropping Albion to two. I just wanted to see how it would play with the Albion at two. I usually play at three is a really good card. It dumps for cost, and if you use the effect from hand, you also get a free draw. So it's really good for putting your missing pieces into the graveyard, and yeah, just getting a free draw. You can also use the effect from the graveyard to toss one of your missing pieces. This is a really good card. It used to be played at one, or sometimes not at all back in the day when I first bought the branded deck. But yeah, this card is saving grace now for this deck. Um, so then we have some one-offs. We have Bestial Saronir. We have Bestial Lubellion. Um, I don't want to run two Saronir because if you do open two Saronir, there's not much else that you can do. So I just want to keep the count as low as possible to see a lot of my engine pieces or my starters in my going first hand. Um, we have double Mercurier. Mercury is good. You could banish it with Bestial. You could banish it off of Albion's effect, and it gives you a search for any card that mentions Fauna Albaz. So any of these you could search off of Mercury. You can also search the Troy Brigade kit. We play one ad libitum, one tragedy. Where is my Troy Brigade kit? Oh, I knew I was missing something from my deck yesterday, but that seems to be it. Yeah, I actually don't have the kit here. Um, I know some people don't run it, but I love that card. You're able to get back the branded spells or traps from graveyard. I also think banishment that's a really good card. It special summons itself when you have a fusion that mentions Fallen Albaz in the grave. Whereas Cartesia needs Fallen Albaz to be in the graveyard to use her special summon effect. And it's really easy to get these in the graveyard off of Branded in High Spirits. So yeah, Kit is a really good starter also. But yeah, so the one ad libitum, I only play one Merjade. So this is so I could do multiple Merjades and just keep using the banish effect of Merjade to, oppress the opponent. Tragedy, you can send it off for Branded Fusion. If it gets sent off of Grasslip Screener, it also triggers. So this is a really good card to get you into one of your um, Despia pieces. So you could add any of these. Also in the graveyard, it has the effect to banish itself and add back a branded spell or trap. So this could get me back my branded fusion if I already used it, and if I already used my branded retributions effect. Once I have this in grave, I play the Requiem because I do not own Idol, so this is my pretty much my soft lock for the deck. Um, Came up like once yesterday, I think. Played Dogmatica Maximus, part of the Nadir Servant package. Nadir Servant being able to search Dogmatica Maximus or Guiding Quem. Then this would allow me to send any of my pieces from the extra deck to help facilitate the combos. Or if you're in a tough spot, like say you got ashed on the Quem or Impermed, and you have the Nadir Servant, you could Nadir Servant, get the Maximus, send the Garura, get a draw, special summon this, and then send two more pieces that could get you stuff, get you graveyard effects in the end phase. So, yeah. So those are the one-offs. So this is pretty much the engine and what makes the deck. I think my matches yesterday were I had Blue Eyes Invoke, Blue Eyes Bistio, Malice. So I had two opponents that were playing Bistios. I went up against Agents, the Fairies, and then not branded, Chimera, Azamina, Fiendsmith. Yeah. Um, to round out the monsters, we just have the one playset, a Droll and Lockbird. I decided to play Droll because I don't have the Molcharmies. If I did have the Molcharmies, I would play those in the main and Droll in the side deck. But I decided to go with Droll, and it did come out yesterday. It was really good into some of the matches, especially stuff like that likes to add, like the Chimera and the Blue Eyes. So yeah, Droll, really good hand trap this format. So that is it for the monsters. Let's get into the spells. So we have, let me just move this over here. We have triple fusion deployment, triple branded opening, and I only played two high spirits. I didn't want to play too much because I am running the Albion at 2, and I don't have the Molcharmies. So the Molcharmy for loss, you could actually brand the high spirits to send Rainbrim. But yeah, so just the two high spirits, the one branded in red, one branded in white, one branded loss. These are all integral parts of the deck. Branded in white, you can take this out and I guess run two branded in red, but it hardly ever comes up. And if you do have this and your plays are stopped and you have this in your hand, you can actually use the Fauna Albaz Engrave and another monster to banish and fusion summon. So It's kind of niche, but it comes up. And then the one Branded Regain. The only reason I played this card was for Malice. Um, that way, when they banish their stuff, I could just shuffle it back into the deck, and it does not get the reborn effect. So this was literally just in here for Malice. Then the one Branded Fusion. We have triple Allure of Darkness and triple Trust. One talents, God card, Grass looks greener. This card, I only managed to resolve this once, um, but when I did, it was really good because I had no other players and it got me at least 21 cards into the graveyard to play with. So yeah, this card is, I don't think if I'm running a build over 50 that this would not be in that build. And then we have the whoop, triple Nadir Servant. Like I said before, the Nadir Servant searches you uh, Fallen Albaz or a Dogmatica monster, which is Maximus or Guiding Quem. Quem is a starter, Maximus just goes hand with the graveyard. For breakers now, let me just shift some of this out of the way. There's a pretty high spell count. I'm not even sure how much, but it's Branded plays a lot. A lot of spells. Uh, right, so let me just shift those a little bit. Uh, breakers, triple poly, super poly. Then we have the two forbidden droplet. Forbidden Droplet came in really clutch, especially for target negation. So whenever someone tried to target my card to negate it, I would just Forbidden Droplet it away, get the effect, negate their monsters, and go from there. So this card came in really clutch. I actually need to secure a third copy because for the longest while I've just been playing with the two. Um, and then the one called by the grave. I don't play the big tree because Branded doesn't really play hand traps. Literally, the only thing I have is Drone Lockbird in terms of hand traps. So that's why I don't play the crossout designator. But Call by the Grave is always a good card. Came up once yesterday when someone tried to use a graveyard effect. I would never take that card out of any deck that I'm playing. Call by the Grave would always. I wish it was that too. I really wish it was that too. One fusion deployment, trust target, one branded banishment could be set off of Albion, branded retribution. This is your card to dump with Quem, Saronir, or Albion. This card is really good. You hardly ever use the on field effect, but if you do have the opportunity to, you can. Normally that play comes off of Kit. Kit would add it back to banish, and then you could set it if you want. But yeah, you basically banish this card from your graveyard to add back any branded spell or trap. So you could add this back. Usually you're just adding back branded fusion. Fusion deployment. Fusion deployment is able to banish fusion a fusion spell, normal or quick play, polymerization or fusion spell, and basically copy the effect. So this can copy fusion deployment, which could get Albaz or Cartesia from your deck, or you just copy the branded fusion, which is most of the time, if you get Astron branded fusion, you have trust in hand, you trust set this, and in your opponent's draw phase, you would activate fusion deployment, which did come out yesterday, but I kind of messed up the play because my opponent ended on an access code talker, and instead of shotgunning this, I completely forgot that you cannot respond to access code talkers effects. I don't know why I forgot that. I also played Cyberse. It was one of the first decks I've played in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, but I don't know. Maybe it was just the tournament jitters. I completely forgot, and it screwed with, yeah, basically the whole game plan because I just wanted to get some cards into the graveyard, get Masquerade out, burn my opponent for a bit because they were playing Malice. So burn them enough that if they try to use any effects, they would basically die or not be able to. But yeah, I messed that up so bad. I felt really scrubby when I did. And for the last card, I'm playing Black Goat Laughs. If you draw this, um, this is good. This card is two interruptions, but you can't use both effects on the same turn. So the on-field effect is declare one monster card name, and then neither player can special summon monsters with that original name, except from the graveyard. So, for instance, yesterday I actually drew into this. I set it. My opponent searched the card, and I just activated this and called the card name that they searched, which was basically their starter, their combo piece, their combo starter. So yeah, and then from there it goes into the graveyard. Opponent passes turn, and the second effect is a little more preemptive. Um, you have to basically declare card name from graveyard, and then they can't use the effects of that monster on the field. So if your opponent has an on summon effect, right? They summon it and they say, yeah, on summon effect. You cannot chain this. Chaining this will do nothing because it already activated. This stops them from activating that effect. So you got to be very careful and basically know your opponent's deck. You know, have low deck knowledge and know, well, okay, maybe they added this last turn and they're going to start their turn by trying to activate this card because it is one of their combo pieces. So you call the name, you stop them from being able to activate the effect, and who knows, maybe they pass turn or school. But yeah, so that is it for the main deck. Um, the deck, it performed well. You know, like I said, I wish I had the other droplet, and I'm only now realizing that the build was missing Spriggan's kit. So I usually play kit. I'm not one of those people that take it out. I love that card, but yeah, that's the build. 57 cards. Just gonna run you through the extra deck quick fast. So shift that over there. We have the one Mirror Jade, the Ice Blade Dragon Mirror Jade. I love this boss monster. Merjid is one of the most oppressive things, especially if you can get the effect to go off more than once per turn. And it sends for cost. So when you send, you're usually sending one of your pieces that do something either on your opponent's turn or in the end phase. Even Abelinatus, I have this in here for Blue Eyes. But yeah, any of these, Mirror Jade sends for cost. And when they negate Mirror Jade, so there was actually a time where I let my opponent negate the Mirror Jade, but I obviously had to send for cost. So I sent one of my cards that would get me into a combo piece. This special summons a Dogmatica or Fallen Albaz. And next turn, when they activated Mirror Jade's effect again, they were like, but it was negated. I was like, yes, the effect didn't go off it, so it's legal to use its effect again. Merjade has a weird clause where it can't use its effect the next turn. It has to use it the the following turn after. So because he negated it, I was able to use the effect again. So Merjade, really good boss monster. Um, the cards that basically get you into Merjade are the one Lubellian. You fusion summon this with a Dark Monster and Fall on the Albaz, and it basically shuffles your combo pieces back into the deck to fusion summon any level 8. Um, so Albion, Albion, this one doesn't shuffle back, it banishes, so you want to be banishing stuff like the Mercurier or the Ad Libitum. The Ad Lib basically will, if say they banish Merjid, or they somehow miraculously managed to get it into the graveyard. Once you use Adlib from field or hand, Adlib would basically be able to special summon a fusion monster once it was correctly summoned. So, yeah, you banish Mercury, you get a search, you banish Adlib, you get back one of your fusions. Uh, this one's a really good one to play at too because this is normally the first one that you send off of Merge's effect because you want to get the end phase effect to set branded in red or branded banishment. Uh, Titaniclad, this one, like I said before, this one summons Guiding Quem, or it could summon a Fallen Albaz. Fallen Albaz, toss a card, fusion summon with your opponent's field. Um, Adlib. The graveyard effect of Adlib is to add you a polymerization or a normal fusion spell. So you could grab the fusion deployment for next turn, or you could grab the branded fusion if it isn't in the graveyard. Rinbrim, if you do have access to multiple copies of Fallen Albaz in the grave, or even one, but you gotta be careful with one because if your opponent playing Bestios, you go Rinbrim and they would basically try to banish the Fallen Albaz. But yeah, Rinbrim when it's engraved on your opponent's turn, you can banish it to either, sorry, you can activate its effect to either special itself or Fallen Albaz. It has to be properly summoned though to special itself. So you would summon the Albaz and fuse off. Rimbrim's effect, he negates um, extra deck monster's effect, and then he bounces a card. So you could go, once you get the toadies on for you could go Merge to send us cost, Rimbrim, negate Merge's effect, and then bounce one of your opponent's cards, or bounce maybe one of your combo pieces back into your hand. Really good card. I'll be on the Sanctified Dragon. This is untargetable. Yesterday my opponent tried to target it. But he basically had to choose another target because it's untargetable. I don't want to call this another boss monster. Merge is the boss monster, but this extra deck um, summons back your cards. It summons two cards from either graveyard. So you could say your opponent has maybe I'm thinking of a good one. Chaos Angel engraved. You can summon Chaos Angel to your field. Summon, say, let's say we have a Merc in your graveyard. So you summon Merc to their field, take their Chaos Angel, summon it, banish Mercury, then you get Mercury's effect. This card is really good. Every ban list they want them to ban this card. I don't ever want them to ban this card. Um, it summons Idol to the opponent's field, the Vice King Requiem, and basically you can soft lock your opponent in Blue Eyes. There's a version with Blue Eyes Albaz where you can summon Spirit with Eyes of Blue, and it would lock them into dragons. Really good card. Two Grand Grignol. You play two just to get the Voice King Requiem into the grave, because this is able to send a level 6 or higher light or dark monster to the graveyard. And Requiem is a dark. Um, you got the one Quertus, Despian Quertus, one Guardian Chimera, uh, Light and Darkness Dragon Lord. I could not get this summoned yesterday at all. Everyone just had the right amount of interruptions to stop me. Garura Wings the Resonant Life, and Dragostapelia. Dragostapelia, nice super poly target. The two of these are super poly targets. When this is sent to grave, you get to draw a card. Um, if you playing against, say, like a Razio, you can change their level to 0 and negate their effect, and then they can't exceed with that monster. Basically, they gotta summon something else. Like a Darkness Dragon is 3 only negates, but it has to be chain linked. This will always trigger as chain link 2. Then when the negate's gone, it kind of like helps chain block, but it could mess you up in certain situations. But yeah, 3 negates, it loses 1,000 attack for each negate. It has 34. After that, when it leaves the field by opponent's card or effect, you can summon back a dragon from grave. Guardian Chimera, you use Guardian Chimera to get either 2 draws and 1 pop, or 2 pops and 1 draw. It uses cards from field or hand to fusion summon. You would normally be using this off of Branded in red. Yesterday I activated my Cartesia's effective fuse. I did not have a legal target in my extra deck, and I had to summon the Guardian Chimera and get rid of my Droll and Lockbird. Um, you don't get any effect when you fusion summon this off of a monster effect. Uh, the Quertist, oh my god, this card came up so much yesterday. Usually I always want to cut this card and just play Masquerade, but this card came in clutch so many times yesterday. It puts all your opponent's monsters to 0 attack at set level 8 fusions. The only person that got around this yesterday was someone playing Blue Eyes. They summoned the Tyrant. Tyrant just happens to be a level 8 fusion. So Tyrant didn't lose its attack, but everything else did. When this leaves the field by card effect or by battle, once it leaves the field, if it banishes, goes to the graveyard, you get to summon a Despia or Fallen Albaz. Is it a Despia? Let me just make sure. I know Fallen Albaz, right? Fallen Albaz are one Despia monster, so you could summon Quem, you can summon Aluber, um, or Fallen Albaz. This card is really good. Um, yeah, my opponent played sold out against this yesterday because they had the Tyrant Dragon. Tyrant Dragon crash into this and well everything else because it doesn't lose its attack. Um, and he had Spirit on field, so when this goes to the graveyard, he was able to negate it with the Spirit Dragon. So yeah, tough matchup against Blue Eyes, but I love that card. And that is it for the extra deck. Um, this has been going on for a while, so let me just try to wrap it up pretty quickly with just a small light sift through the side. Masquerade for time. Artifact Lancia. The effect of Masquerade in Grave is also really good. Once your opponent has an extra deck monster, you click effect, bring it back as a body. They basically got to ram into it a second time. So this saved me a lot also yesterday. Sheeran to facilitate the double Masquerade play. My opponent, one of my opponents managed to call by the grave this yesterday and lived a little longer. But yeah, Ghost Mourner also for time. I decided to play Final Bringer of the End Times. Basically because I can target my own cards once I have Branded Opening engraved. My cards will be protected, but I still get to destroy one of my opponent's cards. Um, so the one Feather Duster, Exceed Encore just for Razio, and Book of Eclipse kind of works for Razio too, and Blue Eyes because they have to use the monsters to synchro or Exceed summon. The only thing they can do against this is to find a way to get into Tyrant by summoning another Blue Eyes. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck, and this has been my deck profile that I took to locals. I'm actually glad I did this because I didn't realize that I didn't have kit. I think the next time I play my branded deck, I am actually just going to go Masquerade Turbo and put 3 Masquerades in my extra deck, going first and second. Yeah, just gonna play Masquerade Turbo, thinking to add in some other cards that burn also. But yeah, that has been it for my branded deck profile. This is YatoGod from High Noon Gaming, part of the Brotherhood Guild, signing out.